Hi YouTube, it's Zaylee, and I am coming to you tonight with a few subjects I wanted to touch on because I opened up this Pandora's box of locks and protein sensitive hair as well as low porosity hair. So I just wanted to touch on these subjects a little bit and let you guys know how I feel about them, being that I do have both issues. I do have low porosity hair and I do have protein sensitive hair. And this has come from years of research and such, so it took some time for me to figure my hair out, and I'm so happy because some of the videos I put up before, it actually helped other people realize, oh, this is why my hair has reacted to this, my locks. Or this is why my locks didn't like that. I know a lot of the people in the natural hair community, which is not different from the locks community because we are all naturals before everything. But I know the people in the natural hair community know a little more about protein sensitivity and low porosity hair than we do, I would say, over in the locks community. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some people that may know this already and have it all figured out, but I just feel like sometimes when we're locking, we think about, you know, what gels do you use to retwist, how often do you retwist, you know, what do you use otherwise to retwist, what do you use to moisturize, da, 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 da. And it really comes from one source, like a forum or different locticians who really know, you know, hair and what they're doing. But everyone's hair is not the same. This is why I don't go to a loctician. And I always knew my hair because I was a loose natural for a long while before I decided to just lock it up. And so I did lots of protective styling and such, and I went through a lot of trial and error with natural hair, my permed hair, and my locked hair. It has not been an easy journey, but I have been able to figure out what went wrong in certain instances. So the first thing that I wanted to touch on is actually the fact that, and I touched on it like a little while ago, but I just want to expand on it now. I do want to remind people with locks that it's natural hair. It is not like it's locked, it's matted, it's, you know, matured into a lock, yes, but it's natural hair. So if you don't know how to treat your own natural hair, you will not have healthy locks. There's a base to everything, and it doesn't mean that because my friend uses coconut oil that I can use coconut oil, because her loctician said that coconut oil works wonders, or that jojoba oil works wonders, or castor oil works wonders. It does not mean that because we both have locks that it will, you know, thrive if I use it in my hair. You know, everyone's hair is totally different. And I do advise that, you know, we all get to learn our natural hair before we try to deal with our locks on our own. So with that said, I do want to touch on understanding your natural hair. Like, as I said before, if my friend Joanne uses something in her hair and we have the same hairstyle, which is locks, does not mean that I can use whatever Joanne is using in my hair because it's doing well in her hair. Because Joanne may have high porosity hair, which means that her cuticles are open and, you know, she's not protein sensitive. I'm just, you know, using examples of types of hair. And so she's not protein sensitive, and she, you know, uses coconut oil and her hair is down her back and shiny and really moisturized because she uses the coconut oil to lock in whatever moisture she retains, does not mean that I can do the same thing. It doesn't mean that because she's using coconut oil, I can use it, although my hair is low porosity, meaning that the cuticles of my hair shafts are closed shut so they don't allow moisture to really enter, or it doesn't allow anything to penetrate the shaft of the hair. It does not mean that, and let's say I'm also protein sensitive. Coconut oil is an oil that mimics protein on the hair shaft. So that means that it mimicking protein, it's not going to do, and it's just going to make my hair worse, because if I am protein sensitive, it means that I have enough protein in my hair shaft, and if I get more in there, it's not going to do anything great for me. So let me explain a little more, because I know I'm using terms now. Let me explain a little more what protein sensitivity is before I get even into high. So I do want to start off with the fact that I am not an expert on natural hair. I have just done years of research, so I know a bit about how to deal with my hair and how to deal with, you know, people that have asked me questions about theirs, because I also enjoy research and, sorry, something was in my way, and doing hair also. So I do want to explain what protein sensitivity is. Now I have notes upon notes upon notes, so I will be glancing down every once in a while just to, you know, reinforce what I'm saying. So protein sensitive hair is hair that has enough protein in the shaft itself. So if your hair contains high levels of protein already, if you add more protein, your hair will rebel. And this is what happens to my hair. So if your hair feels frizzy, dry, you feel like it's popping so easily, that has happened to me so many times. If it's tangled, if you feel like it's rough, wiry, or it feels fried, this has happened to me so many times. Even being permed, being a loose natural, I would do protein treatments, again, because I would go to a hairstylist, professional hairstylist, or a friend would say, oh, use this or use that, and I would use it. You know, it's a hair treatment, and I would use it, and I just thought that my hair didn't agree with being permed, or I just thought that my hair was going through a period. I could not figure out, you know, what it was. Protein sensitive hair lets you know that something is wrong. As far as locks are concerned, if I'm using too much protein in my hair, it lets me know by, it begins to separate from the lock itself. And so I see breakage. Like, there was one point where I had an afro with locks, and that's when I figured I'm using something that has an ingredient that contains protein or mimics protein deep down inside of the structure of the product itself. So I read ingredients lists like crazy because I need to know what I'm putting into my hair. Now, I hope I'm explaining this right. If you do have any questions, let me just say that you could leave it down below. And if I did say something a little off or not clearly, I will be happy to explain it down there. So, in that case, protein sensitive persons cannot use protein in their hair. Now, you're going to ask, I know we're going through an oil craze. We have been for a few years. Well, and so we use certain oils like coconut oil. That's a big one because I got caught up in the coconut oil craze and bought loads of it, bought products with coconut oil in it and put it in my hair, and it was a disaster. Luckily, I figured out what was wrong, because coconut oil doesn't let you know, it's not really a protein. What happens is these oils that I'm going to explain to you about actually mimic protein by bonding to the hair shaft. So it just creates a layer. It doesn't do anything for our hair. So this list includes coconut oil, jojoba oil, avocado oil doesn't do well with me. It may do well with you, because I know people that are protein sensitive but didn't have an issue with avocado oil. Castor oil doesn't do well with me either. Olive oil does not do well with me either. It all does the same thing to me. The last three oils that I mentioned, I do know protein sensitive people that don't have an issue with them. So it all comes down to, sometimes people are sensitive to a certain level, I would say. Sometimes they're sensitive to a level of protein where they're allergic to hydrolyzed proteins or wheat proteins or silk proteins. You know, it doesn't mean that you are allergic to all types of proteins. Sometimes you may just be allergic to a certain bracket of proteins, but there are different brackets. So these are things, you know, I'm speaking about me. So these are things that don't work well with my hair. I cannot use keratin, collagen, amino acids. I cannot use, yeah, I think I mentioned all of them. So these are oils that mimic protein. And so also I do want to mention that when you are protein sensitive, you cannot use protein conditioners. I mean, some people do. Some people like leave it on for a little bit, or they do it once every few months. I can't use protein. My hair is very like, it will let me know that I don't like what's going on. It really rebels. It gets dry. It seems thirsty. It sucks everything up. It goes insane if I do. So I do know other people with the same issue, and their hair also lets them know. So as I said, protein sensitive hair will rebel and let you know, hey, something is really wrong. So the next video, I definitely like to touch on low porosity. So I won't touch on that right now. I just wanted to explain what protein sensitivity is. Some people say there is a connection with low porosity and protein sensitivity. Some people say there is not. You know, from what I know right now, I do have low porosity hair, and I do have protein sensitive hair. So, but if you stay tuned to my channel, if you do have the same issues that I have, I'll show you how I conquered them and how I got through them. You can also stay tuned by definitely checking out my other social media platforms, because I may tweet about it. I'm on Instagram more than Twitter, and I do update my website pretty frequently, and that is tokendreadgirl.com. And it's always linked in my description box. And if you want to know more about your locks and remembering that your locks is also natural hair, I would like you to please like, comment, or subscribe. And subscribe if you do want more of these videos, if you would like more information. And yeah, so that's about it. I will be seeing you for that low porosity video very soon, and I thank you guys for tuning in. Take care.